Hello, Pally. Today is May 3rd, 2019, and InFocus starts right now. Pretty contestant is making big news with his big money wins. A Jeopardy contestant is making big news with his big money wins, and it takes big money to live in the Bay Area. Thayer Kacher investigates the economics of one of the nation's most expensive places to live. And the weather is looking good for this weekend. I'll have all the details. Welcome to InFocus. I'm Thomas Colburn. There's a lot going on around campus. Here's some important announcement from today's campus bulletin. Those who are interested in summer volunteer opportunities can go to the Tower Building at any time to check out the Community Service Bulletin Board outside the College and Career Center. For more questions, contact Kay Larson at pausd.org. The dance team's 2019 annual Spring Showcase is here, featuring award-winning competition pieces, raffle prizes, a bake sale, and guest performances from across Pally's campus. Their performance is next Tuesday, May 7th at 7 p.m. in the PAC. Tickets can be purchased on the quad this week or online via pallydance.com. In performing art news, Pally Theater's one-act showcase is this week. The remaining performances are tomorrow at 7:30. Tickets are $5 for students and $10 for adults. More information can be found on pallydtheater.com. Moving on now from what's going on around campus to what's happening in the world and locally today. Let's take a look at what's topping today's headline in today's News Minute. President Donald Trump said he briefly discussed Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report with Russian President Vladimir Putin today, but didn't warn his Russian counterpart to not meddle in the next U.S. election. The phone call comes amid intense scrutiny of the public release of the Mueller report, which found that U.S. intelligence agencies' belief that attempted Russian interference in U.S. public affairs has continued. Today's conversation, the first between the two leaders since the Mueller report was concluded, was part of a larger discussion that was focused on the crisis in Venezuela and also touched on North Korea and other topics. Elementary school kids got a lesson on road rage while traveling home from school on their bus last month. Bus driver Kathy Anderson says it all started when she was making a left turn on April 19th in Howell Township, New Jersey. As she turned, another driver had to slam on their brakes to avoid the bus. That's when a passenger in the car approached the bus. Anderson says that the person began cussing at her and punched out a window. Even with 32 years experience driving children to and from school, Anderson says the situation caught her off guard and it definitely scared the kids. Could the all-time Jeopardy winning streak soon be in jeopardy? James Halsauer came in first place for the 20th time on the legendary game show Wednesday. The 34-year-old has earned just over $101,000 last night. His 20-day total now tops $1.5 million. He now shares the second largest winning appearance streak in Jeopardy history. The record still belongs to Ken Jennings, whose reign lasted 74 games. From news of now to news of the past, we bring you this installment of Today in History. What do you have for us today, Derek?
Well, today was the birthday of one of the world's darker philosophers. On this day in 1469, the Italian philosopher and writer Niccolò Machiavelli was born. A lifelong patriot and diehard proponent of a unified Italy, Machiavelli became one of the fathers of modern political theory. Machiavelli entered the political service of his native Florence by the time he was 29. As defense secretary, he distinguished himself by executing policies that strengthened Florence politically. Machiavelli's political life took a downward turn after 1512, when he fell out of favor with the powerful Medici family. He died in 1527, embittered and shut out from the Florentine society to which he had devoted his life. That's all from me. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Derek. Seems like Machiavelli really paid a price for his dark philosophy. And people who are also paying a price are those trying to buy homes in Palo Alto. Thayer Kacher has more.
For consecutive years, the Bay Area is the most expensive place to live in the United States.
Does it sound bad?
But some wonder, how did we get here? I had the privilege to sit down with Mr. Blackburn, an economics teacher at Pally, to talk about the high cost of living and rent. He first describes why the cost of living has gone up so much.
And the reason why the cost of living has gone up is because of the job market in the Bay Area. A lot of tech firms are here in the Bay Area, so that means a lot of people make a lot of money working for those firms.
Although many people think lowering the housing prices will help people afford houses, Blackburn sees a downside to it.
If we try to make things more affordable for people to buy, we make it more difficult for people to sell.
Because the housing prices have gone up, the minimum wage has gone up as well, leading to retail stores pricing their products differently.
Now going to have to cost them a lot more because they have to pay more for workers. That's going to be good for the worker because that allows them to make more money and be able to live in the Bay Area, but it makes it more difficult for the stores. So what do they have to do? They're going to have to raise their prices in response, and so all of us are going to pay higher prices.
Despite the high cost of living, Blackburn doesn't see the growth of population in the Bay Area stopping.
We still see a higher amount of people moving into the Bay Area than people leaving.
Because of that, he believes the cost of living will only get worse.
So no, it's not going to fix itself. The situation will probably only get worse.
Because of the high job market in the Bay Area, we shouldn't see the housing prices going down anytime soon. For InFocus, I'm Thayer Kacher.
Thanks for that great story, Thayer. Jason Goldie's back in the sports studio and has the latest on Palo Alto sports. Jason, I miss having you in the co-anchor spot today, but it must feel good to be covering sports again.
I miss co-anchoring too, but as a huge sports fan, I don't mind updating everyone on the scores. Let's get to it. JV softball were home run hitters and won against Saratoga with a score of 13-2. JV boys lacrosse lost to Los Gatos in a close score of 7-8. Varsity boys lacrosse swiped a win against Los Gatos with a result of 6-5. At 3 o'clock p.m., boys varsity tennis will play Saratoga. At 4 p.m., girls varsity lacrosse will play away at Los Altos, along with varsity baseball, while JV baseball plays at home. At 5:30 p.m., boys JV volleyball will play at home against Wilcox, following boys varsity volleyball at 6:45 p.m. That's it for me. Back to you, Thomas. And by the way, have a great weekend.
Thanks, Jason, I will. And the weather is going to be perfect for some weekend outings. Let's look at maps. As we look at San Francisco, we got a high of 63 and a low of 48, roughly around 61 degrees right now with winds at about 12 miles an hour. As we look at Oakland, we got a high of 71 and a low of 50, roughly around 70 degrees with winds at about 10 miles an hour. As we go down south, down to San Jose, we got a high of 77 and a low of 49. So that's our Bay Area temperatures for today. As we look at today in Palo Alto, today was around 72 degrees. We had a high of 76, a low of 49, winds at about 7 miles an hour today. As we look at this coming up weekend, we got a high of 72 and a high of 67, lows at around low 50s. It'll usually be pretty cloudy, but the sun will come out in the afternoon. And as we check out the 5cast, the start of next week will be pretty cloudy, but as Annie says, the sun will come out tomorrow. Well, that does it for today's episode. Be sure to visit our website to check out old episodes, check the bulletin, or send us an email. Until next time, have a great day, Pally.